So I want to give my take on the best 2-star gems, why you should be using 2-star gems, and why they might be better than some 5-star gems. Depending, of course, if you have rank 10 5 stars, they are always gonna be better. But if you are in the range of 4 to 6 rank, it might be better to get rank 10 2-star if you can. But let's go over to the best 2 stars and why you should be using them, why they're good in either PvP or PvE. Let's just start with the one of the obvious one, Viper's Bite. Viper's Bite is super good. In open world, it deals, if you have a rank 10 Viper's Bite, it deals almost 50% of the normal monster, not magic, not rare, but the normal monster's life. This means when you're doing an open world build, you can have more movement speed, more dashes, because you don't need to deal that much damage to the enemies, because Viper's Bite will deal the rest over 6 seconds. So you can have something that just dots them and you can run away to the next pack, and Viper's Bite will deal the rest damage you need to get the monsters down. I will be using this in so many open world builds because this helps our builds to be faster without actually losing the damage. And if you don't have the resonance, losing the damage means that it's not faster anymore. So this is really good. And in PvP, well, dots are just amazing. This gives 100% chance for a dot. So even if you hit once the enemy, you still get full value out of the Viper's Bite, which is just really, really good in PvP too. Now on dungeons, this might not be that good, but again, it gives you the dot, which we are going on with the auto gem. So if you use Pain Clasp too, now you need to have a dot on the enemy to trigger the Pain Clasp. Now if you have a dot builds and you have Pain Clasp because Pain Clasp gives you a lot of damage increase on the enemies that is suffering from continuous damage effect. Now if you are inside the dungeon and Vipers procs to the enemies, now you have 6 seconds of Pain Clasp duration, even if your build doesn't have any dots. So this makes Viper Bite even better because Pain Clasp is one of the best 2 stars in PvE, in PvP, in dungeons if you just have the dots, and Viper Bites enables Pain Clasp to be used even if you don't have dots in that particular build, even if you bought or got the Pain Clasp for that reason that you have dots in some builds. Now you can even use this without the dots, which is quite great, to be honest. I don't personally have this. I would really like to have this, but I don't have the resources to get this. But this is really, really great 2 stars. Now we also have Mother's Lament. Now Mother's Lament is kind of interesting in that case that it only gives you critical hit chance for 6 seconds every 20 seconds. But then again, if you are going on the dungeons, you usually have this always on the bosses. Usually always. Like if you are into Namari, you almost proc this on every single boss. Almost. Because with 20 seconds you can have Inner Sanctuary on every single one. So this increases your damage on every single boss phase on Namari. You have 30% critical, over 30% critical hit chance in every single boss, which is just huge damage increase because we usually have armor penetration. Not everybody might have over armor penetration, but a lot of people have critical hit damage. So this just increases our damage immensely in the dungeons. Now on open world farm, this is not that great because it is not up all the time, so you just sometimes get the value out of this. In PvP you only get 10% critical hit chance, but then again people are stacking block chance and critical hits go through the block chance, so Mother's Lament can be really valuable in PvP. And also if you do builds that you don't just stay there and fight like a barbarian and hit your head to the enemies till they die or you go down, then this can be really good because when you go back and heal and then you go back to fighting, you should proc this again and you get the damage buff once again. That's the reason why I use this. This is also a really good 2-star gem to have. Now we have some others that are also pretty good, like Power and Command is also one of the best ones. I just personally don't like the fact that it rotates around primary attack damage and around skill damage. Now you do have a chance to display a negative effect when every 9 seconds when the thing swaps around, but the chance is pretty low and it's only every 9 seconds, so it's really unreliable. But Power and Command can be really good gem. Not the best, but better than the other 2 stars. Now if you are a ranged class, Blood Reach is definitely one of the best ones. If you play only ranged classes, take this. This gem is absolutely amazing. You get so much damage increase just by having this on, and because you are on the range, you just get damage increase. You get damage increase all the time in PvE, all the time in PvP. This is good. This is really good. And it also reduces the enemy movement. This doesn't really matter in PvE, but in PvP environment, you have a little chance that they are slowed. So if there are a monks or something that is trying to catch you, let's say barbarian or something, you can slow them. Of course, barbarian have demoralization that just clears this out, but sometimes you get some value out of this also. But you get a damage buff. It's pretty good. And we still have 1 2-star that I recommend to use. The other ones are kinda meh, at least in my opinion. There are some uses for some of these. If you have channeling skills, Iron Bank can be used. The Abiding Curse can be used for PvP things, but I don't really recommend that. But in my opinion, Gearsling is the best PvP gem. The other ones works everywhere. That's why I didn't start with the Gearsling, because Gearsling is purely PvP gem. You gain almost nothing out of this in PvE environment, but in PvP this is probably one of the brokest gems you can have. If you think about Starfire and Malv and how annoying those are, just think about a gem that works the other way around. So you CC the target. You are now like, yeah, I win, I'm gonna get the win out of this, I'm gonna continue CCing him. And his Gearsling procs, and now you're CC'd, and the other dude is not CC'd anymore. He turns around and starts wailing you down. And because at rank 10 this is 4-second CC duration, by the way, and by the way this CCs everybody around you. So if you have 5 people wailing on top of you, every single one will be stunned. Every single one out there. So in PvP this is the best gem you can use as a 2-star. This was my first 2-star rank 10 because it's that broken in PvP. So I highly recommend using this if you are a PvP player and you do play a lot of PvP, but again you don't really gain anything out of this outside PvP environment. Now let's talk about why you should be instead stars and where is the breakpoint when you shouldn't be using 5 stars anymore. In my opinion, if you have rank 6 5-star, it is almost as valuable as rank 10 2 stars. But only if you have the awakening slots. Otherwise, the 5-star is definitely better, because if you don't have the awakening slots, you don't get the good stuff out. And now that we're talking about the awakening slots, please do not go for the damage ones. If you go for the damage one, just take the higher ranked resonance gem, because you're getting more life, more like damage. You're getting overall damage, not just for that one ability that you use once every 12 seconds. You get overall damage from primary attacks, everything. Only difference is if you have something that increases your primary attack damage with the awakening, then it's good, because you the most damage you are dealing out in mostly in PvP, usually depending on the build, and in dungeons is going to be your primary attacks. The primary attack awakenings are good, but what you should be looking for is the cooldown reductions. Only reason my Shield to Zen is up all the time is because of my awakenings. So I gladly drop my resonance to have my Shield to Zen up all the time. And now with the new build that I'm using, I'm going to use my shoulders and my Retinosin Wine that just makes me invisible. I'm gonna put a Awakened Gems here so I can get 20% cooldown reduction on that one too. So it goes from 12 seconds to about 9 to 10 seconds, which is kinda huge in the long run, because if we play the game for 1 minute, that's a lot of seconds already. That is a lot more Mystic Strikes that I can do, and because the Mystic Strikes has utility, it has a dash, it has a CC, that is the big reason why you should aim for the cooldown reduction. It gives you so much more utility in PvP and in PvE. Like with the Shield to Zen, we cannot have it up all the time if we don't have this. And in PvE, we can use Calefaction. We can have every buff, like we can have the new buff, Ease and Clarity, up all the time, only if we have the Awakening slots. So go for the utility, don't go for the damage. The damage is not that great. It's just 10% for one ability that you use every 12 seconds. Take the cooldown reduction. That is the one you want to get out of your Awakenings. That is going to make you so much better in PvE and in PvP. Hopefully this video was helpful, and I will catch you on the next one.